Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the conversation we've been having with Pauline Juma on Beyond the Scars. She is talking to us about her story. She was gang raped at the age of 16. By the time she was 22, she had already gotten married twice, but she is over that now, and that is the beauty here on Beyond the Scars. And now she'll be sharing her healing journey with us. Keep your feedback coming at Generali Munisi says, always my favorite Sunday program, really inspiring story there by Pauline at Grace Korea KE at KT News KE is where you can send in your feedback. Pauline, asante sana once again. So now I want you to take us through that journey to healing, as you were saying, before we took the break. Because now at 22, you've already gotten married twice. You already have 2 children. And now you're taking it upon yourself to sensitize the community, to talk about rape. And I remember you saying that people were wondering, how come you're so bold about this? Take it from there.
Yeah, at 22, I spoke about it boldly and passionately. And at that moment, I was not afraid of anyone. I was just tired. At that moment, I was tired. I was tired of seeing my fellow sisters in the society being beaten up. And I joined different organizations. I volunteered for different organizations. At that moment, the whole year, I was just silent. I was not telling anyone why, and everyone was wondering why. Why would Pauline speak so passionately about this issue? And anytime someone could ask me, I would shy away. I will not even tell you. I will just tell you, I love being there for other people. And it went on at 23, and my passion for modeling, I contested, and I was the second Miss Kibera Shofko, and I told myself, I love modeling. That is the only resource that I have right now. And I am going to use this modeling because for me, modeling, being on that runway was like shedding off the burden, shedding off my past and just walking like a queen to my future. That is what it meant for me. And whenever I spoke, whenever I gave my speech, I was just telling the world, you know what? There are things in this life that just has to stop. There are injustices that just have to stop. We cannot suffer, all of us. We need to have someone who will be there to support one another. And I just started a small modeling group. And this time I decided to train 8 to 15 years because, that is when it all started going wrong. Every time I meet a girl, the first thing I tell them, you're beautiful, you're amazing, and you're confident. Because my mother never told me that. She told me in other ways. So anytime I was told I was beautiful by another person, that is the people I believe. I didn't believe my mother. I started believing other people. And starting this group was just reminding these girls every day. When we were growing up, we wanted to be engineers, we wanted to be doctors, we wanted to be psychiatrists. But what happened when we were out of high school? I was joking with someone and telling them, after high school, you're a patient. And 1 year later, when someone asks you, you're like, whatever God will decide me to be. So being with these girls, I reminded them every day. I remind them even until now, you know what, you can be that doctor you want to be. Just with the little ways we can. You can be that engineer you want to be. You can be that pilot you want to be, as long as you remember, number one, every day you wake up. Remember, Pauline told you you're beautiful, and it should stick in your mind. Remember, you're confident, so you can be who you want to be. And remember, you're amazing. And just teaching them ways on how they can protect themselves and prevent themselves from the perpetrators. And number one skill that I learned, always speak out. Because the greatest weapon of a perpetrator, whether he is a rapist, whether he is a domestic violence person, your voice. The moment they silence you, they've won.
Yes.
The moment they've kept you believe in their lies, they've won. So I sensitize to girls, always speak out. If you can't speak out to me, find out someone else to speak out. But just make sure you've spoken out. And yeah.
But now, Pauline, at what point did you now decide to speak out in this sense, telling people that, hey, what I've been talking to you about, I went through it?
When it was late last year, and I spoke out by just writing a poem.
Late last year?
Yeah, I wrote a poem. I wish I was 16. I wish I could go back and make things right. I wish I could go back and be that little girl that I used to swing on the streets of Kibera and telling the world that I am a journalist. I wish I went back to when I was 16 and made sure my perpetrators paid. And one of the greatest mentors in my life, he just called me. He calls me Dote. And Dote, are you okay? And I told him, yes, I am okay. Dote, you're not okay. I've been with you for the last 1 year and there's something wrong with you. You don't just want to tell people. And the greatest test he gave me, he told me, you're going to share your story in front of a camera. You're going to speak out your fears in front of a camera. You're gonna cry, it is okay, cry it out. You're gonna shout, it is okay, just shout it out. But you just have to let that fear, let that one obstacle holding you inside your heart, let it out. That was the greatest test he has ever given me. And you know, he was there. He was there to tell me we can do it. He was there to remind me, you keep telling girls they're beautiful. Okay, you're amazing. He kept reminding me, you know what? I might be a man, but I will be here to support you until the end. So for me, that was my first time to open up through that poem, and I opened up in front of a camera, and I was crying. I was like telling them I need a break because I didn't know how much it affected me until that day, and until again my mentor took me to a psychiatrist, and that is when I realized, you know, the psychiatrist was telling me, you've been silent for the last 7 years. So you've been piling up emotions. And that was healing for me. Every step I took, and my mentor reminds me every day, as long as you wake up in the morning and you breathe in and out, that is the greatest blessing. So let's keep breathing.
Let's keep breathing. I like that. And here you are again in front of a camera. Let's go back to your mom, because I want to know her reaction when she found out that this happened to you when you were 16 and she didn't know, you didn't tell her. I would also want to know if she got to know that your dad knew and you two decided to keep it a secret.
My mom, when she found out, you know, being a supportive mother, you know, I've never understood my mother. Because, you know, my mother wanted us to make her proud. But, you know, 2 times I've come home with children, but she has always been there. You know, I would go for a job even for 1 week, but my mother would stay home with my children. So when she found out, she again took me in another journey. Forgive. Pauline, forgive. Because, you know, the first day we were with her when I was telling my story. And before that, just a day later, I just broke it. I just broke out. I broke down in front of my mother, and I told her, this is what happened to me, and tomorrow I am going to speak it out. So you're going to be there. And, you know, my mother answered me, I realized there was something wrong with you, but I knew one day you will tell me. And on that day, she was there. She was there to just cheer me up. She was there to remind me, I will always be here as your mom. I will always support you. And that day again, she reminded me, you remember when I called you a candle? You are a candle and no one is going to put off your candle.
Wow, really, really inspiring. And now that you talked about her telling you to forgive, that is actually what I wanted us to talk about next. Where are you right now in terms of, you know, forgiving them, in terms of planning to revenge 5 men now, right? We left it at 5. So where are you now?
You know, forgiveness for me has been a process. Any day I heal, any moment I heal, I forgive. And I told myself I am going to take all my energy in supporting another child, in supporting another woman. So I just drifted my focus to support other people. But again, the people that have surrounded me, the woman that told me when I was 19, 20, Pauline, you're a great leader. And she has never left me until now. My mentor, whom I call Dad Nzusa, is always there. Dote, we have to do this. You know, pushing me up to greater challenges just to make sure I am stronger every day. You know, little by little, I am learning how to forgive. I am learning how I started by forgiving myself first.
That's the most important thing,
yes,
actually.
I told myself, yes, you have made mistakes. You have been silent. But I had to forgive myself. And I had to accept myself that I'm beautiful. I had to tell myself every day that you're amazing. I had to own this little poem that I keep telling girls, you know what, this is who you are. And I just dedicated my life in supporting other people. And my healing journey is always seeing another person smile, seeing that woman smile, seeing that young single mother just be happy, seeing them going on with their education, and also the greatest part of it, seeing them mentally stable to go to the next level. That is healing for me. Yeah.
Talk to us about your encounter now with other girls, because you've been doing that for a while, especially in Kibra, and a lot happens. You know, you did talk about how some other young girls also share their experiences with you. How has it been, you know, basically the encounter with them?
It's been tough because, you know, anytime you think you're healing and then you get a call at night, Pauline, you have an issue. Anytime I used to get that call, I knew, oh my God, we are going back to step one. We are going back to that scar. And it's like, you know, you have a scar and someone keeps playing with it. It gets painful every day.
Yes.
And for me, just getting the help of a counselor, for getting the help of the great people that surround me keeps me going, because there was a time I used to take in all the emotions. I used to cry with them, to sob with them, to get traumatized with them. But right now, at least, I can be strong enough to support another person and just guide them through, the healing journey. Because for me, the most important thing is for the victim to heal. That is the most important thing. For the victim to heal and rise up again. Because the trauma, the challenges that comes from someone who was sexually violated, it's only someone who has been there who can understand.
Yes.
You know, those moments when you want to go for something, but this voice keeps telling you, remember what happened? You are a nobody. So, you know, we battle every day with some negative voices. So for me, healing for the victim, that is the most important step. And just working with them and remind them, you know what, we are going to go through this together. We will grow through this together. And just getting the help from people who have dedicated their lives just to be with me. Because I keep telling people, when you see Pauline, she is not alone. I have a great team. I have people that I will wake up in the middle of the night and tell them, you know what, today I can't. I am not facing tomorrow. But they will keep reminding me, breathe, just breathe. And move on with life. So it has not been easy dealing with this issue, especially when you come from Kibera, Dandora, Mathare, these slums. I see a lot. I hear a lot. And sometimes I just tell myself, one step at a time. I am going to help one person at a time.
Sure.
And one day in future, or maybe 2 years, we are going to form a society of women who know what they want, or men who know how to protect their women around them. Yeah.
And I still want you to talk to us about that a lot, because I would like you to share perhaps like the worst experience that you've encountered, because we're living at a time where even children as young as months old are being defiled. How is that even possible?
You know, I asked myself that question one day, because, you know, when you're 13, when you're 12, when you're 10, and you're defiled, this is what the society will say. Alikuwa amevaa vibaya, alijipeleka. So earlier last year, I handled a case of a 2-year-old girl with a 23-year-old man.
So alikuwa amevaa vibaya.
And that day, when I went to the hospital to see the girl, and I saw the perpetrator, I just asked him one question. Ni nini uliona kwa huyu mtoto wa 2 years?
That's the point. That's the question. Because if the excuse is my dress, my choice, tunavaa vibaya, so huyu amefanya nini?
So I just broke down and asked him, huyu wa miaka 2 alikuwa na Pampers, uliona nini? And you know, at that moment, everyone was holding me because I just told them, I need one person, just one, to give a lesson to the whole world, just one. Because at that moment, I was telling myself, even dying for you is a very good revenge. You're not supposed to die. At that moment, I was just crazy. I was like, for you, I think we just need to cut one leg, take you to the hospital, or just take a hot metal, just right here, R. And then for the rest of your life, you're going to explain to children what this mark means.
What the R means.
But you know, the worst thing is that some of the men in the society protected him, and he ran away. And I was like, it is okay. Let's now deal with this 2-year-old girl. And the 2-year-old girl survived. But you know, every single day for me, she will grow with that pain. You know, we assume children are children, but I've handled mental issues with my little boy, my firstborn. So I know, I keep telling people children are not children. They're smarter than we know. So for me, I talked to the mom just to help the girl grow and remind the girl every day that she is going to come out through this. Yeah.
When you asked him, what did you see in this 2-year-old? What did he tell you? And if he did not say a word, because I would assume he didn't, but you will tell us, could he even have the guts to look at you eye to eye?
He couldn't even look at me because it's someone that I meet him on the street. I used to meet him on the street. And you know, he couldn't even dare look at me. And the moment they realized that I was actually going to take revenge on him, somehow they just protected him and he went away. And you know, that is now how I get crazy. Because you know, we are trying to protect our sisters, and here we have other people who are protecting the perpetrators. And the worst thing is that we even have mothers who protect perpetrators. I've handled cases where a girl opens up to me and trying to follow up this case. You go to the mother and the mother looks at you straight to the eye. In fact, one day I was told, we hujui kitu, we hujaza. And they didn't know I have children. Mtoto wangu hakufanyiwa hivyo. And the girl looks at you straight in your eyes with this feeling that, please, Pauline, just help me out. But you can't do anything because the mother has already been paid. Maybe the mother has been threatened and you just can't do anything.
And actually, for most of such cases, it's usually a relative who's done that.
Yeah.
A father, an uncle. And so the woman is trying to protect the dad.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're really doing really bad to the child, you know, right?
So in this case, you just walk with the girl and remind them that, you know what, I remind every girl that we are going to grow through this. We are just going to come out through this. We are going to be stronger. But first you need to accept it and heal. Healing is the most important thing. Because, you know, our scars, they are limitations to our growth. Because they will keep reminding you, you know what, and the worst part of it is it's an invisible scar. You will never go to the doctor and tell them it's here that hurts. You know, it's the heart, and you can't even tell anyone where it hurts. Yeah.
But now moving forward, Pauline, what do you think needs to be done, especially to the men? Because I'm asking because I know, like for you, you're having, you know, a lot of community sensitization, especially to the ladies. But I still think we need to speak to the men too, because it's not okay. It's complete injustice. Not all the men though, not all of them, but it is injustice to a child, to a 2-year-old, to a 16-year-old. What do we do?
You know, addressing the injustice and the injustices in the society and meeting different people made me have an open mind. Because right now I involve a lot of men in every decision that I make. You know, it happened to me. Around 5 men have been there to hurt me and many more because I was vulnerable to sexual violence almost everywhere I was going. So just bringing up men to address these issues in the society. I just started by bringing up men to address menstrual hygiene issues. And now, it makes them understand that, you know what, it hurts. It hurts to beat a girl. It hurts because this girl can be your sister, this girl can be your mother, this girl can be just your cousin. So I bring men on board to help us protect the girls. And I also do not forget that boys suffer. Sometimes I would just, this year, early this year, I would just wake up one day and write anything in my mind. And there was a day I wrote a poem of a 10-year-old boy who was sodomized, and he turned out to be a rapist. So, and just writing that poem, I was just trying to get the views of men. And, a lot of them opened up. And, I feel like we have a problem in our society, and it's a high time we stop focusing on the problem and just create solutions.
Yes, and
bring out a society.
Solution.
Yeah, just be part of the solution and bring out a society that let's remember our values. That is the most important thing. As much as I teach a girl how to be empowered, I remind them of their values every day. I remind them of who they are and what they are meant to be in life. Yeah.
Those affirming words, you're beautiful, you can do it. And yesterday, Kipchoge showed us, that no human is limited. You can do absolutely anything you want. You can achieve anything. So we need to wrap up, Pauline, but I need you to speak to someone who could be watching you right now and has probably gone through what you went through. Speak to the community at large and just share your views with them, your closing remarks rather.
My closing remarks? The most important thing in life is breathing. The moment you just wake up in the morning and you're breathing, you're okay. But this is what I will tell to anyone who is maybe going through something that is hurtful, that they cannot speak to anyone. Just try and speak out to someone. Just try and let it out of your heart. It's toxic. It will affect you more. And for me, forgiveness, you don't forgive because you don't forgive because it's for the other person. It's for you to heal. Because the moment you heal, and I think Kipchoge just proved everything to us. No human is limited. But first you need to align yourself in your purpose. The moment you are in your purpose, you will find the right people. And if they feel like they can talk to anyone, someone should just talk to me. My Facebook page is always open.
Yes, that's important. How do we reach you?
You can reach me through Eagles Modeling Foundation. That is the foundation's Facebook page. And we are running an initiative, Adopt a Mentee. So you can also adopt a mentee. Just adopt a girl or a boy and work with them, mentor them, educate them, and liberate them. And also you can find me through my Facebook page, my personal, Leslie Pauline Juma, and talk to me. Let's talk. I believe one step at a time, we are going to create a peaceful and a great society. Because Kenya is a beautiful country. We are all beautiful people.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you so much, Pauline Juma, an anti-rape activist. Thank you so much for speaking to us. And you're currently pursuing journalism, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Karibu. Thank you once again, Pauline Juma. That's where we end today's discussion. Beyond the Scars, I see a lot of your feedback. Rob Adogo once saying, moments of turning your scars to strength. That is exactly what Pauline did. Antonin Dotcher saying, he quotes the words of Eliud Kipchoge, indeed, no human is limited. And he says, Pauline has shown us that. And maybe let me just take a last one here from Philip Marube, who says, what a touching story. Thanks, Paulina, for the boldness to speak out. Rape cases are very rampant, especially at the slums and low-income dwellings. They go unreported because of fear. I laud the efforts to empower girls in this area. More needs to be done, though. And indeed, you're still doing more. So thank you so much for all the feedback. And there are three things that I learned yesterday. No human is limited. Kipchoge said, I don't know where the limits are, but I'd like to go there. And finally, there was one commentator yesterday who said that you can't be what you can't see. And that's what I want you to pick. See what you want and get it, seize it, be whatever it is that you want. So that's where we end today's edition of Beyond the Scars. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Grace Correa. Of course, at 11 a.m., Ben Kitili will be here with Inside Politics, and I'll be back at 1 p.m. for Weekend at 1. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your viewing. Thanks for watching.